Remember 3 important rules. Do not expose them to the light. Do not let them come in contact with water. Never feed them after midnight. This week we discussed the 1984 movie Gremlins. Now this week's a rare occasion. It is just Chad and myself.
Yes, I am literally fighting for my life this week, as you can hear with my voice.
So am I. I'm tired. But grab your bathroom buddy and enjoy the 139th episode of your award-winning podcast. We used to talk about this at work. Welcome. Chad, how are you doing right now?
Oh, as I said in the intro, I'm fighting for my life, quite literally. The old voice is going in and out, Matt. But I'm here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to see you. It's Christmas time, and if my levels are not good, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, editing chat. But it's Christmas time. This is the Christmas episode, and you should want to spend the holidays with family. And you're kind of like my brother. I mean, we're not gonna talk about those racist assholes we work with that thought we were related just cause
Mhm.
we two black men that wear
With
glasses.
glasses.
Yeah.
Right, right. But speaking of the holidays, though, for me in Japan, it's so around this time is I have to put my order in with KFC.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Now, for the listeners and watchers who don't know, it is customary in Japan, instead of a ham or turkey or whatever for Christmas, is you get you a big bucket of that KFC chicken.
I wonder how like a whole country like shaped the holiday customs. I'm sorry, a whole company shaped the holiday customs of a country.
And I did my research, and this is
Oh,
how it happened. It's because in 1974, there was I should get his name, one Japanese franchise owner of KFC, and basically he lied. It was like, yeah, this is what the Westerners are doing for KFC or doing for in the States, how they have KFC for Christmas. So they ran a campaign in 1974 about Christmas and chicken and everything, and basically it just took off like that.
I love that. Like I mean, I know that we live in an age now where you can just lie about things and people accept it. But I think that it is interesting. Like you go back to the 70s, 80s, even the 90s, when you could just make anything up and there's no real way to fact check it.
Remember back in the day when there used to be like Marilyn Manson like cut his ribs out and stuff like that?
Yeah,
You
I
remember
remember
that?
that. Yeah.
Right, like random stuff like that. Like Sierra used to be a man. Like all these random stories that people were just making up, and we were just like, okay, if it sounded right, people just rode with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like there's still stuff like today that's like still roaming the internet. Like did you hear that I guess urban legend about how they replaced Avril Lavigne?
Uh-uh.
So I can't remember the exact details, but like the Avril Lavigne that we have now, they're saying that she was replaced by like a lookalike, like maybe like around her second album or something. So like she doesn't really sound like the same from like her first album, and there's like they had like side by side pictures of her during the era of her like he was a skater boy era versus
Mm-hmm.
like album like the stuff she was doing like 2 albums later.
Mm-hmm. Do
Yeah.
you believe it?
I mean, the video that I watched, obviously they're gonna post evidence that goes with what they're saying. So she did look kind of different in the comparison pictures, but that
Mm-hmm.
could have been just like an off day for her.
Right, right. True. You, you never know what the internet is telling you, and you
Right.
should never always just believe it.
That's true. All right. So what exactly is your KFC order?
Big bucket of chicken. I don't know. The wife is doing it. All I know is a big bucket of chicken, some sides, biscuits. Do they even have mac and cheese? All I remember biscuits and maybe some coleslaw if they have that. I don't remember. I
So
can.
when you say a big bucket of chicken, is there like specific pieces of the chicken that you guys order?
I don't know. She's always done it. I never know what she says. But basically, comes in. You get a big wing, some thighs. It's a mixture of it in the bucket.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, obviously, post all the pictures on social media um this weekend. Um, but also continuing with like staples of Japan. What's going on with Sega?
Sega is rebooting some of their classic games from the past. The games that they have announced so far is Jet Set Radio,
What?
Shinobi,
Huh?
Golden Axe,
Okay.
Streets of Rage, and which one? The one I'm looking forward to most, the which one I played the most out of all those games, Crazy Taxi. I love Crazy Taxi so much. And then when they had a app version of it, I
Yeah.
played that. So that's the one I'm gonna be looking for the most is Crazy Taxi.
So when you say that they are rebooting, so are you gonna get them on new consoles, or are they gonna do what they did previously and just put them back on mobile?
Um,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Um,
I didn't look that far ahead.
I didn't.
Uh, it's not saying specifically. I was just saying it's all new gameplay. So from the sounds of it, it should be on console, but I'm not sure. It
Okay,
doesn't explicitly say it.
okay. Oh, it would be stricken from the record. Ask me about my shit.
Oh, it's because of the success of Sonic with the movie and things that they're looking at other properties and stuff. Like, so maybe if they can, because he says, the Sega COO says Sonic's definitely a blueprint for us. First, we really want to create the games and then appeal to the gamers. The gamers first. However, if we're creating a world and a character that the gamers love, that means that filmmakers love that kind of direction. The movie so why not? So if we can reestablish these games, get the fans to like it, and then it could be a branch off to movies and things like that.
They could have made a crazy taxi movie anytime over the last 20 years.
Right.
That doesn't you don't need a lot for that.
Right. It's pretty self-explanatory. Plus, like even Shinobi, a ninja movie, you can do that too.
Yeah. So I don't know. That they dropped the ball on a lot of shit.
Right.
So
But
mm.
oh no. But speaking of Japan,
Actually, now that I think about it, like this is a very Japan heavy episode. So both of mine are Japanese.
I saw your last one too. Yeah. So speaking of Japan, Godzilla.
Yeah, man. I saw Godzilla Minus One at the movie theater, and I went because like I've heard nothing but positive buzz about this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never seen a Japanese Godzilla movie. I've seen the American ones. I don't really like them, but I've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, let me check this out. And it was really good.
Oh wait, stop right there. So this is a Japanese Godzilla movie.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Is it in Japanese?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, that
So
makes me more interesting to me now.
well, actually, before I get into it, like are you a Godzilla guy?
No, not at all.
See, I'm not either. Like I've seen the American ones, but it's just like I like to go to the movies.
Right. I've seen the American ones. I've seen clips of like the old school Godzilla
Hmm.
stuff, but like I'm not a fan of that.
Right. So, the movie is set like at the very end of World War II, and a kamikaze pilot he doesn't go through with it, and he goes back to like base, and he's like, "Hey, something's wrong with my plane," and they're like, "Okay, well, let's look at this." And they look at it, and it's like there's nothing wrong with this plane. but then Godzilla attacks, and he has an opportunity to shoot at Godzilla, but he doesn't, and everybody in the base dies except like one person besides himself, and so like he's a coward. So he
Mm-hmm.
comes back home, and it was devastated by the atom bomb and stuff. And he meets a woman that has a kid. It's not her kid; it's just a kid that she found, in the devastation of the war. And they raised the child together. And time passes, and Godzilla just gets stronger and stronger. When I say stronger, I mean bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually like Godzilla starts attacking, and I don't know. So like the human story was super compelling, and Godzilla is not any of that American stuff where Godzilla is like, oh man, Godzilla's saving the people. And Godzilla is the villain of this movie, but it's not like with malice. Like Godzilla is just a wild animal, and since it's big, it's doing destruction on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know better. And then
Mm-hmm.
like when it's getting attacked, and like, when it's attacked long enough, it'll do that super thing where it shoots like the stuff out of its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So like the
Oh,
effect for that is really neat. I'm being vague, but I highly recommend this movie. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Letterbox. It was so close to 5 stars, but they did something in the end where I'm like, this kind of destroys like the whole motive, the whole reason why the main character did what he did.
mm-hmm.
Because they kind of they say a character died during a Godzilla attack, and in the end they were like, nope, I survived. Here I am. I just couldn't communicate with you for weeks.
Oh.
So I
All
was
right, I know
like,
what you mean.
I didn't care for that. And then I also checked out another Japanese movie, it's the latest Studio Ghibli movie, The Boy and His Heron, The Boy and His Heron.
I just read about this today, and I was like, I need to check this out.
So I've seen like maybe 3 or 4 Studio Ghibli movies. I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm just, I'm not a big anime guy, but I would rather watch an anime movie over an anime TV show.
Right.
And so I was like, well, it's new, so let me check it out. It was okay. Um, the so basically it's about a boy during World War II time. He and his dad moved to the Japanese countryside for reasons. And eventually he goes to like a magical world. And we spent so much time in the real world. And I'm like, I understand we want to establish, like, you know, show who this character is before we do some magical crazy stuff. But I'm like, y'all take this is too slow. This is too slow. Like, pick it up, please. Like,
How long
can
was this
we
movie?
it's like 2 hours and 5 minutes, and
Okay.
he doesn't go to the magical world until like almost an hour into the movie.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Like I will say the animation when they go to the magical world, like the stuff that you see there is like really cool looking. But I'm like,
Mhm.
it took us so long to fucking get here.
I got you.
Um, it was not like it was an all right movie. I gave it 3 stars. I will say I watched the Japanese version, but I kind of wish I saw the American version because like of the people that they got to do the voices. Like 2 of our girlfriends, one Florence Pugh's in it, as well as Karen Fukunaga. She's the woman on The Boys, the Asian woman.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you got Christian Bale and Batista's in the movie, Mark Hamill. So it's like a solid cast. So I was like, I kind of would have liked to have heard them do stuff. Also, no, wait. Yes, Christian Bale and also Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I looked at the cast: William Defoe, Mark Hamill.
Hmm.
Um, that guy, he's in things. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Black guy, Mamadou Effie. Yeah, I butchered that. I apologize, but I seen him in things too.
That name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
So I do kind of wish I would have saw like the English dub, but I went with the Japanese one.
Mm-hmm.
Just cause I like those actors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the movie is fine. Like it wasn't entirely for me personally, but I'm not saying don't go see it. I'm just saying it wasn't for me.
Do you think I'll like it?
Maybe, but I don't think that you would like that first hour. Like it's in interest is information you need to know the main character, but it's just so fucking slow.
Gotcha. So that'd be one of those days where I'm bored and I'm like, let me put something on.
Yeah. But like I said, animation is visually stunning.
Right.
So
And
I'm sorry.
speaking of magical worlds and magical things, you had a special question for me.
Yeah, man. So I was on X, formerly Twitter, and a comic writer posed this question to her followers. She asked which characters from the DC universe could be considered mutants in the Marvel universe. So I kind of lightly did my research here, and I got two people. So the first one was Black Canary. You know, she's got like the little screech and shit.
That was one of mine.
Okay, and then I said Plastic Man because he's a stretchy guy.
Okay, so my other two was Beast Boy
Oh yeah, that is a good
and then also Raven.
one. Okay, okay.
So like you said, like when I was going through the list of DC characters, some were like I was trying to think of like you born with this type of thing where a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people were created and stuff. So like those are the couple I came up with.
Yeah. I when I was before I actually looked at characters, I was just sitting thinking. I was like, wait, Static? And I was like, no, no, because he got his powers from that mist.
Yeah.
But he would have been a good contender if not for
Right.
that part.
Right.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be kind of like a fun little question.
Right. Um. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reason right along.
Yeah.
Right. Ready for our movie discussion? And
It's gonna be
don't
a 30-minute episode, folks. Merry
and don't
Christmas.
Gremlins.
Billy, what are these things?
Gremlins. How come a cute little guy like this can turn into 1,000 ugly monsters?
I'll bet every kid in America would like to have one. They might even replace the dog as the family pet.
A young man inadvertently breaks three important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of violent and mischievous monsters on a small town. Now, Chad, before this, have you seen this movie before?
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. Last time I saw it in full, I was on like oh man, a Gremlin kick, and I watched this one and the second one back to back. So it had to have been like maybe 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened in like Chinatown. I'm like, okay, I remember this. And like we're in the town. I'm like, okay, I remember this. But then like I didn't remember so many things. Like once the Gremlins like started like being bad, I didn't remember
Mm-hmm.
most of that. I thought that the ending, like how they beat the final Gremlin, was different. I thought that they got him outside to kill
Mm-hmm.
him. And then lastly, I do not remember that man coming to town to take Gizmo. I do not fucking remember that.
I thought I seen this movie, but I don't remember nothing. So I'm
Mhm.
gonna assume I've never seen this movie.
Why did you want to do this movie specifically?
Because I thought I seen this movie and I thought it was a nice little funny Christmas movie type of thing in my mind. And now I was horribly wrong about this movie.
I appreciate that this is a very 80s movie and that is not concerned like this okay, so to trample on your trivia, this is like one of the first movies that's ever been rated PG-13. And I like that this movie is so. I feel like if they didn't create that rating, this probably would have been an R-rated movie.
You're correct.
And I appreciate how this movie is not concerned about trying to sell toys to kids. This movie is kind of dark. Like if you really listen to like what they're talking about how like so many people are going into foreclosure and the bank doesn't care. And then that dark story that the girl told the boy. And it's just like it kind of has like a low-key pessimistic view on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that that's not really something we normally see in our in holiday movies, you know.
Right, right.
So
So overall, what did you think about this movie?
I liked it. I actually forgot to rate it. But if we were on Letterbox, I'd probably give it a 4. I mean I like the movie. It's still solid. I forgot some stuff. Um, but yeah, I would rate it 4. I still enjoy it. I remember not liking the second one, but that's something we can kind of examine at a later time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hated this movie.
Ooh.
But I will we will get rid of trivia right now where the director of this said he doesn't understand why this made so much money, but he says that he likes the second one more than this one. So I would like to watch the second one now because yeah, this one was not good to me at all.
I don't
I
like the
don't
second one.
I hate how everybody is so nonchalant about every single thing that happens in this movie.
Mm.
So starting off with the dog biting the lady at the bank
Man,
to where he's just holding it like, oh, okay. And their concern wasn't really about that the dog bit the lady. The concern was why do you have a dog in a bank? And then the dog bites the lady, and everybody was like, okay, and we just move on. When uh the dad comes home, brings him Gizmo. Oh, not this. You brought this weird creature looking thing in the house. Oh, it's a pet. Hey, we have these rules. Why do we have these rules? Nope. Just okay. We have these rules, and we're just supposed to live. And then even when he brought his little buddy, the young kid in there, hey, you have this crazy looking alien thing in here. Okay, let's
let
just
me
roll with it.
let me read my comic book because I'm bored now.
Right. It's just like everything that happens is so like they're just like, oh, okay, we'll just go with it. And I hated that.
Mm. No, I mean I can't argue with that. Like that's a very good point.
To me,
Uh
there is 2 stars of this movie, and I want to see
okay.
if you can guess who I think are the 2 stars of this movie.
Obviously Phoebe Cates? Is it Cates?
No,
No.
Kate, but no, but not her.
Oh. And who? Oh, the main boy?
No,
All right, I got nothing.
the dog. The dog is the star. That dog was on point in all the scenes. He was on point. I like the dog. Oh, I had the dog's name too. It was like Donkey or Buddy or something. But
Sure.
yeah, like the dog to me was amazing throughout here. His facial expressions for each of these scenes, like even towards the end when they're in the mall and Gizmo is riding in the car and he has to like jump backwards and following through. Like the dog is a star. And number 2, his mama. Now I want to put
Man,
I,
yes. Yes.
so when quote unquote the Gremlins come out, his mama was on some not on some horror movie, fall down the stairs and do all this stuff and be
Mm-hmm.
confused. She got a hint of what's going on. Let me grab a knife, seen someone, killed the gremlin in the blender, knifed the other dude, put the other one in her microwave. She killed like 3 or 4 of them in like 2 minutes.
Yeah. She got her John Wick on. Yeah, that's something that I really liked about how he calls her and lets her know like it's going down. And the movie stays with her. And I feel like a lesser movie would have just switched back to the boy and we would have followed him trying to get home. And when we got home, we would have saw her being choked out versus us seeing her get some work in. And I absolutely love that.
Right. Yeah. Because when she was doing this is like that's not that's a normally it's opposite like you said it's a trope that they do about that, but like no, I really appreciated that they did that. But now fast forward to when they're in the movie theater, and we
So,
know
well, hold up. So this movie came out in 1984, which means they probably made it in 83. And this is in the very dark time of Disney where like so many companies were trying to just come for that ass and like take over and like just take their properties, like make basically Mickey Mouse. The company was in a really bad state. And I like how like they gave permission to Warner Brothers, their once enemy, to put Snow White in their movie because they needed the money.
right, and that's why I was shocked at first when I said that. I was like, really? They let them do that?
Yeah, it was not a good time for Disney at the time.
Right. Movie theater. Oh yeah. So I just kept thinking, why wouldn't they turn the lights on?
Well, I feel like sunlight's the only thing that could kill them. The light would just annoy them, I would think.
Well, the light makes them disoriented and whatever like that. And yeah, sunlight actually kills them. But I'm like, instead of doing that, your decision was like, let's just burn this shit all the way to the ground.
I love that. I fucking love that.
It's like we just wait for okay, they all here. Let's just get them all at one time. Let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Even
like
even that is just like the whole point. Go back to them being nonchalant. It's just like there was the only real sense of urgency was when he was complaining to the cops. But like besides that, there was never no sense of urgency throughout this whole movie. Like even when the Gremlins are attacking the Santa Claus and the police are just like, "What's going on?" and rolled on out.
Yeah.
So it was just lackadaisical. But we were gonna say about that about the whole burning it down.
no, I love that. But I still thought that they killed Stripe by getting him outside and not just bringing light into where he was at. So like I was just like I remember this scene so differently.
Also, like it kind of makes me think about the first time I watched a Star Wars movie.
Okay.
To where somebody who's never watched it, Darth Vader's like the star of this thing. And then the first movie I watched, he's barely in it. To where I'm like, I've seen Gizmo before. He should be doing things in this movie, and he's not really doing things
Well,
in
I
this
said he
movie.
wearing his Rambo bandana. What's going on here?
Right. So it's kind of like, okay, I just know these movies from their mascots type of thing. And I was like, disappointed where they're actually in the movie.
No, I mean Gizmo has a lot more to do in the second movie.
Okay. Well, speaking of not spoilers, but trivia, the reason is because uh what's the word I'm looking for? Animatronic type of stuff is they didn't have that capabilities for him to do everything on the first one where they
okay.
did have so I guess he was able to dance in the second one or something like that. They was able to do that because they didn't have that technology then and stuff like that.
Him dancing feels like something that they would have did in the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. So what do you think the Rotten Tomatoes on this was?
I'm gonna say something high because this is a beloved classic. 88.
Close. 86 with
Okay.
an audience score of 78.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna run through a couple of these trivias. This movie and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom are credited with inspiring the MPAA to create the PG-13 rating. Many felt the movies were too violent for a PG rating, but not violent enough for an R. One of the reasons for the no bright lights rule was that in 1984, director Joe Dante could not completely navigate perilous waters of special effects for the gremlins / puppets that well. By keeping them in the dark, this camouflages this problem. This is an old sci-fi trick. Dante did the same thing with this trick effect for Howling 1981, 3 years earlier. They kept the monsters in the dark to hide the special effects problems. Originally, we didn't talk about this, how this movie should have been released around Christmas, but here's why. Originally planned and scheduled for a Christmas release, the movie was rushed into production shortly after Warner Brothers found out they had no major competition against Paramount's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom or Columbia's Ghostbusters for the summer movie season. All right, last one. The Santa speech proved to be controversial, and studio executives insisted upon its removal because they felt it was too ambiguous as whether it was supposed to be funny or sad. Director Joe Dante, however, stubbornly refused to take the scene out, saying it represented this movie as a whole, which had a combination of horrific and comedic elements. Executive producer Steven Spielberg did not like the scene, but despite his creative control, he viewed this as Dante's project and allowed him to keep it. And the trivia that I have, but I'm pretty sure you know the answer to. This movie was released June 8th, 1984. When this movie debuted, it debuted at number 2. What movie released on the same day was number 1 over Gremlins? And your options are Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, or Ghostbusters. Which one was number 1 the same day that Gremlins came out?
So it didn't come out the same day. It was just number 1.
No, it came out the same day and was number 1. This came out number 2.
Okay. I think Temple of Doom came out in July of that year. I think. I mean, this is bad because I think we did Temple of Doom this year, and I think we did And one of the trivia questions on one of the 5 movies was like dates. The first movie was Star Trek.
Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and Ghostbusters.
I'm going to Ghostbusters 1.
Yes.
Star Trek?
You saying that's your answer, Star Trek?
Yeah.
No, it's Ghostbusters. Indiana Jones, Star Trek came out before this, they were out, but on June 8th, Gremlins and Ghostbusters both came out, and Ghostbusters grossed 13 million, where Gremlins grossed 12 million.
That's wild that they gross so close to each other, and they were both new properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. We out. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate, like, and review our podcast on your platform of choice. If you have any feedback, please email us at weishouldtalkpod@gmail.com. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. It's a thing at We Should Talk Pod. Also, let's definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel at We Should Talk Pod. Follow Chad on Letterboxd at BOW1213. Follow myself at Mr. King 0257. Join us next week when we do.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're reading that. What are we doing next week?
Join us next week. Wait. Oh no, because I'll just stop and let you. Yeah, because I don't remember what we're doing next week.
Yeah, because I'm like, why are you talking right now? We don't know what we're doing next week.
Right. Because I was about to say the other one, but that one comes before this one. So yeah, I have no idea. Just come back next week.
yeah, it's gonna be something. We don't know what, but it's gonna be something. But in 2 weeks, we get the year-end wrap-up.
Yes.
Yeah, so Rachel will be back for that. That's an annual tradition. Every year she's done that with us. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. And now you know what we used to talk about at